Essential fragrances to buy this fall. There are obviously so many fragrances that are really good for wearing during the fall, but which one should you actually spend your money on? And of course, if you're interested in any of them, they're available in affiliate links down in the description below. So I'm going to start with one that I recently ran out of. Actually, it was my mother's, but here is Calvin Klein Obsession, which you can see is totally empty. So this is, when I think of this, I think of autumn. This is one of the warmest, most like cozy sort of fragrances I have come across. It is primarily an animalistic fragrance, like lots of musk, that sort of thing, lots of amber as well, some wood notes. And this came out in the 80s. This was extremely popular during the 80s, and it's still pretty popular today. It just does such a good job of being a warm, autumn time fragrance because it's not only is it warm, it is super strong. Longevity through the roof. I would say 8 hours minimum on the majority of people, and it's just a very unique scent. Now, warning here, some people absolutely hate this fragrance, but that's kind of true of any fragrance, but mainly because it's so strong and animalistic, especially on women, because like I said, this came out in the 80s when animalistic fragrances were popular for women. These days, not so much, but if you want to wear something different, this is a really good option. Then, if you want to go for something a little bit more on the floral side of things, then I would recommend this fragrance. This is Les Monts by Coty, which is actually quite an old fragrance. This came out in the 20s. But it's just a pretty reliable and simple fragrance. And it's primarily florals, some powderiness mixed with a little bit of amber, that sort of thing. It is on the lighter side, definitely, but it has a nice little warmth to it. It's powdery, and then of course it has the sweetness of the florals. So it's very feminine, more kind of, classically feminine. And at the same time, first of all, you have this nice bottle, this kind of Art Deco style bottle, but it's very affordable as well. It's considered a drugstore fragrance, so it's about $20 or even less sometimes, but it's a pretty reliable fragrance. Like, it smells good, it smells good. Most people also think it smells good, so you don't need to think about wearing it. And, it's not quite as warm as some other autumn fragrances, but, if you don't prefer those super heavy options, you prefer something a bit lighter and more floral with a touch of warmth, then this does all that very easily. So, then the next one, which I have to say, this is one of the most interesting modern fragrances. This is Monera Roses and Chocolate. So, as you can tell from the title, this is roses and chocolate. And I have to say, this is one of the most chocolate fragrances I've ever smelled. There aren't that many chocolate fragrances, but, sometimes they smell too artificial, kind of strange, that sort of thing. This is kind of like smelling real chocolate. Like, it's a little bit nutty, it's a little bit chocolatey, and then you got the roses thrown in there. So you're kind of getting this very interesting mixture of notes. And obviously this is a gourmand fragrance, meaning it smells like dessert, it smells like some sweet food. And it's very strong. It is super warm, super cozy, super feminine, and it just stands out because, there's, like I said, there's not that many chocolate fragrances out there, let alone blended the way this is blended. So once you put this on, you're going to smell edible, you're going to smell delicious. At the same time, you're going to be warm and cozy. So this will really cut through the cold autumn air, and you'll stand out from the crowd at the same time. Plus, this is really long lasting. You won't need to reapply it. It'll last 7-ish hours. So pretty much all day. Really good performance overall. Just make sure you enjoy the chocolate note, otherwise you probably won't enjoy this. Then the next one that I have is another kind of older version. This is Youth Dew from Estee Lauder, which is one of my kind of go-to fragrances during the autumn/winter. This is from the 50s, which is when it was extremely popular. It is a super spicy, super warm, woodsy, musky, ambery, balsamic sort of fragrance. It has pretty much everything. It has a lot of florals as well, some roses thrown in there. It has everything you can imagine. The list of notes that it has is massive. Now, word of warning, this is an extremely strong fragrance and definitely not for everyone because it is so strong. Now, if you like spices and you like the musk and you like the heavier fragrances, you will most likely enjoy this. But if you're not into that, you might as well steer clear of this one because it is very, very strong. Good news about that, it is also really long lasting, so it'll last, 7-ish hours as well. And it's kind of a classic, elegant, feminine fragrance. You don't really come across this type of fragrance for women anymore, since at the moment it's directed more towards florals and sweet notes. So this is more classic with the musk and the spices, so that sort of thing. But yeah, definitely really, really good if you want something really warm and spicy for the autumn. Now, the last one I mentioned here is a modern option, which is Libre from Yves Saint Laurent, which I do not have, but it is definitely a really good option if you want something, more modern, a little bit lighter, more along the lines of Le Mans, I suppose, more floral and more modern femininity. And, really long lasting. It'll last all day easily. It has a little bit of warmth to it. Not quite as warm and spicy as these other ones, but definitely a good option because this is like a type of fragrance that the majority of people will enjoy. There's nothing really weird about it. It's not too overpowering or too this or too that, so it's very nicely balanced. And of course, it's a designer brand, modern option, so it's just a pretty good, reliable thing to get if you're not sure what else you should get for the autumn. I mean, I haven't really seen anyone say hardly anything bad about Libre, so, if there's very few complaints about it, then it's going to be pretty good. And it's also pretty versatile. I would say you could wear it easily, not only during the autumn, but during the other seasons, casual to formal, even workplace. It's very, very versatile. It's kind of a do everything sort of fragrance. But that is my list for this video. So hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, of course, leave a like, maybe subscribe. You could also comment. And I make a few videos throughout the week, so don't forget about those.